Welcome to another edition of In the Circle presented by SFBN here on Facebook Live. And it's actually going to be our final episode here as we are on Monday, June 12th, the day of the state semifinals. And I'll bring in my co-host, the same guy we've had all year, the man from the Chamonix High School, Dave Ciccoletti. Dave, welcome back as always.
How are you? Great to be here again.
Well, it's not a great day yet again for our local teams. We're going to go down by classification, but we've had a great year in the regular season for our local teams, just did not pan out in the state tournament. So let's start off in 6A, and Springford goes down today to District 2 champ Hazleton, the same team that knocked out Council Rock North, the team that you know very well, out of Suburban 1. So Hazleton doing some damage to our local teams. Talk about that.
I had the opportunity to speak with Coach Engelhardt after that game, and he told me that Hazleton did have a very good lineup. They had some great hitters, and they really tested their defense. He said defensively and pitching, it wasn't nothing great. He said, but they were a team who came on a mission, and they were able to get things, and they got the bounces when they need to. And I think that's a big sticking point that you're going to hear about all these games that are so close is you need a bounce to go your way. And Hazleton's playing good softball and got the bounces going their way. They bounced 2 District 1 teams. Yeah,
so Hazleton advances with the 6-5 victory over Council Rock North in the quarters. And then today, up in Allentown at Parkland High School, knock off Chambersburg. They knock off Springford 8-5. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit as Chambersburg on the other side of the bracket playing right now, and they are losing big to Hempfield. I believe we're looking at 9-3 after the 4th inning. So Hempfield versus Hazleton, 2 teams that we haven't really talked a lot about. Obviously, they're not in our area, but they're 2 teams playing really good softball right now.
Excuse me. Obviously, to be this point of the season, to be in the Final Four, you have to be playing great softball. And, just by being familiar with the bracket the last couple of years that I've been coaching, I know that Hempfield is traditionally a very good school, and I could see why they're winning that today. And, coming out of a very strong district should make for a great state championship game at the 6A level.
And now over in the 5A, none of our local teams are left, but we thought Bishop Shanahan would be there. They went down to Lampeter Strasburg in the last round. They actually played Donegal coming up a little bit later tonight, actually starting maybe in about a half hour from now, or I think maybe first pitch now. Game that already ended today, Cedar Cliff in a very tough game over West Allegheny, 6-5. And Cedar Cliff, another team that's playing pretty well. But Lampeter Strasburg to take down Bishop Shanahan, in my mind, they have a very good shot at the state championship, even against the tough Cedar Cliff team who advanced today.
Agreed. I thought that, Bishop Shanahan was one of the best teams at 5A, so that win is huge for them. And I would give a slight edge Cedar Cliff. That game ended rather early, so as terms of scouting, I think Cedar Cliff gets a little bit of advantage, that game being played a little bit later, to have somebody go and take a look at that game to see what they're up versus. When it's this far along, any little thing like that can matter.
Now you take a look down at 4A. Again, Cedar Cliff winning in 5A, and the Donegal Lampeter Strasburg starting now, actually, at 6 o'clock. First pitch set for 6. In 4A, a team that I liked a lot was Bonner Prendy. Saw them win the Catholic League Championship game. We did that game on SFBN. They went down in the tough game to Eastern York, and then Eastern York got their doors blown off by Tunkhannock. They play later tonight at 6:30 versus Bangor. A game going on right now, Mount Pleasant leading Yock 4-0 after 4. So 4A is kind of an interesting, classification. I don't know a ton about it. I just know Tunkhannock. I know Prendy. They're a solid team. They lose in a tough game, and then Tunkhannock beats the team that they beat fairly easily. What do you think? What are you making of this classification? What do you think?
I think this is one of the classifications that we said that would lend itself to be open for the rest of the state. I think I said that in a previous show, and I think that played true. Don't know much about these teams. I've been to Tunkhannock, and I know there's great fishing there. So I'm going to go with them.
Just for the fishing. I love it. I love it. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good when you make these picks, right?
The Marucci's had a mountain house there. Great fishing.
That's great. Now, going on down to 3A, all our local teams again out of it, but a team that you know fairly well, Pine Grove, very solid softball team. They lead Mid-Valley 10-4 after 6. Looks like that they are going to move on to the state championship game, where they will potentially face South Park, who won today 4-0 versus Phillips Osceola. But Pine Grove, Talk to me about this team. I think they're probably the best of the group here in 3A.
You know, in the fall every year, I try to go down and look at the previous champions and try to get the best matchups I can for my own team. And I came across this Pine Grove team and, contacted their coach about a game. And they came to Neshaminy, and they put a beating on us. So it wasn't fluky. It was just one of those games where it was girls. This team came here, and this is a very good team. We didn't play our best, but this team is very good. I knew when that team left that day that team was probably going to go on a nice little ride. They just had a big win over Christopher Dock, beat them easily. Christopher Dock's coach called me and spoke to me, and they said, Dave, can you tell me anything about Pine Grove? And I told him everything I could, but I told him, Wayne, I got to be honest with you. This team is pretty loaded for a 3A team. So I kind of like Pine Grove.
Yeah,
bracket.
Yeah, I agree. I think Pine Grove, should they hold on here, which it looks like they are, it's finishing up now in the 7th as we speak. South Park, a very good program out of District 7, but I think Pine Grove certainly has a good shot. Getting to 2A now, and both of these games are now finished. Southside knocks off Chartiers Houston 7-2, and then our last local team that had remained, Bristol was our last local team. They lose 15-0 in a shortened game to Minersville, and Minersville crushed Conwell-Egan as well early on in this bracket. I mean, the Miners just must be so tough.
I had the opportunity to see Minersville last week. They played in the game before Bristol in a victory over, I'm not sure who that was.
I'll look that up for you,
Holy
Dave.
Cross.
Okay.
A victory over Holy Cross. I think they won that game 5-3. So I saw the Miners, and they have 5 girls. Their first 5 batters all have 100 career hits.
Wow.
So, I have one girl do that in 4 years. So Minersville had a great lineup. I was supposed to see that game in Bristol today, but an accident on the turnpike pretty much got 90% of Bristol's crowd eaten up. I saw a picture of their stands before the game, and there was about 10 people in the stands. I know a lot of people battled and made their way there toward the end of the game. Just a great run for Bristol to be undefeated at this point, and showed a lot of character. But I just think that this Miners team wasn't going to make any mistakes, and they came out today and played their best softball.
Now, do you give Southside a chance against Minersville? Because Minersville's just basically walked through this 2A bracket.
The only thing I knew about the bottom part of it was that Southside had already swept Chartiers Houston. They 10-run them both times. So that game's a little bit closer. But I don't. After seeing Minersville, if Chartiers Houston has a shutdown pitcher, which we really haven't seen anywhere in the state, any classification, to be honest with you, they do have a chance. But if they're winning games by high scores, which I have seen on some of theirs, I don't think so. That the Miners, they have a legit lineup, very good for any classification, let alone 2A.
Yeah, I mean, I would think just based on the results and based on what you've seen, I would say Minersville definitely the favorite to win the 2A bracket. Now, moving on down finally to the 1A bracket. Both of these games in progress right now. Williams Valley leading Myersville 8-3 after 5 innings, and West Green, the number 1A team in the state, leading Dubois Central Catholic 8-3 in the 3rd. And Dubois is a very good team, and I think West Green is really the team to beat. Williams Valley's not bad either, but I like West Green a lot.
I believe I saw Williams Valley. I think that's who may have eliminated Bristol last year in the quarters. They dropped down a classification because of the 6A alignment, and they were a really good team then. So I think with that realignment, I think that played in their hand. And I know that West Green may be a very good team, but I wouldn't be surprised if that won't be a very, very great game between them and Williams Valley.
Well, I think all the championship games should be pretty solid, and unfortunately, none of our local teams are in it, but it's been a lot of fun producing the only high school softball talk show here on the internet in the circle, in terms of teams, certainly in the Philadelphia area. So it's been a lot of fun. We had a good ride, and a lot of teams really did pretty well. So I guess at this point, Dave, before we sign off for the final time, what's your final thoughts on how the season went, what you thought was going to happen, and maybe now what were the results, what your interpretation is of the results that happened in states with a lot of our local teams going down?
Well, first, I'd like to say that I do, it is awesome to produce the only high school softball show. I think that there's a huge crowd for softball, and a lot of people, talk to me about the show and really enjoy it and really tuned in. Something I'm really excited to continue. Based on my predictions throughout the year, the kind of the champions in the local leagues went with winning the SOL, winning the Catholic League. I think we were kind of right on. I thought my team was going to be one of the best teams. We thought Wood was going to be the best teams. Unfortunately, when you get to that next level into the playoffs and teams are within 5 runs of each other, you get they're really good matchups. I think that you need a good bracket, and you need a lot of luck. I think you need calls to go your way. I think you need bounces to go your way. Every little thing matters when you get to that level, and unfortunately, none of the local teams got the bounces they need this year. Like, look at they said a lot of people said the SOL National was down this year. Council Rock North was the only team, to make a run. Well, you got to remember, Council Rock South and us had to play each other in the second round. Council Rock South eliminated us. Council Rock North eliminated Council Rock South. So it could just be bad luck in that we had to be in that little bracket together. It's just little things like that that make such a tremendous difference over the course of the year. But there's always next year. There's a lot of talent returning in this area.
Yeah, I think it should be a lot of fun, and I hope we definitely would like to continue the show. And look, it's been an honor. I mean, you have a plethora of softball knowledge, so you've been a great addition to the SFBN family. So thanks so much for being my co-host here on In the Circle this year in 2017.
No, it's my pleasure to be here, and I thank you guys for having me.
And before we sign off, just want to remind everybody watching, you can go to our website, www.thesfbn.com, for all of the information that pertains to SFBN. Past episodes of our TV show on Comcast, Varsity Voice, all of our great content and great photos. There's going to be more content going up as we cover these final spring sport championships. You can learn more about us and links to our YouTube channel, links to our Facebook page, everything SFBN. We are the home for Philadelphia area and becoming Pennsylvania high school sports. So for my partner, Dave Ciccoletti, I'm Ari Bluestein, and for the last time, thank you for watching In the Circle, presented by SFBN here on Facebook Live. Have a good one.